Well, what we knew going into this is that Oleg Deripaska had at one point invested in a private equity fund that Paul Manafort had tried to launch. But what the AP found here is that the ties go a lot deeper and a lot further back. That Paul Manafort basically was working on behalf of Oleg Deripaska, who is extremely close to Vladimir Putin and the Russian government, to promote both Deripaska's business interests and the Russian government's interests throughout Eastern Europe and former Soviet states. Paul Manafort, definitely spent a number of years as kind of a gun for hire internationally. And what he said he was doing was just sort of straight political consulting work. He was advising Ukrainian political parties, basically. This one particular party called the Party of Regions, which is generally considered to be pro-Russia. What, in fact, the documents that we've obtained and some of the people who are familiar with Mr. Deripaska's spending on Mr. Manafort's services, what those things show is that Manafort was both doing that political work while simultaneously and covertly representing a covert foreign influence in both Ukraine and also doing some work that touched on Washington as well. So it would suggest that he was fairly liberal in mixing the various worlds, his political work with his business work, with his work on behalf of the Russian government, or at least the work that he proposed he was going to do. I should emphasize that what we reported is historical. So the relationship with Deripaska would have been over by the time the campaign began, long since then. I mean, Deripaska was suing him, in fact, at that point. So, there isn't any sort of question at the moment as to whether Oleg Deripaska was, in some way involved in the Trump campaign. But what it does demonstrate is that Paul Manafort had the contacts, connections, and willingness to work for a Russian oligarch who was seeking to influence world events.